Today I'm coming at you from Indianapolis Speedway. I'm driving the Nissan Skyline GTR Group A BNR32, also known as Godzilla, because that's the longest name of any car in this game, I think. I've been trying to get over 100 miles in this car for quite some time. After much trials and research, I think I have what it takes to make it. I'm going to share with you some of the tips I've learned along the way. First things first, why on earth am I driving backwards at an endurance race? Well, I'll tell you why. You've got to drive this car fast for a long time to get the game to generate a whole bunch of bots. So you need fast, consistent laps to pull that off. The problem is, if I go flat out right from the start, there's a lot of bots in my way, and they're driving dreadfully slow. So by backing up for a bit, I waste a bit of time, but I'm not wasting distance, because the race starts from the moment I drive forwards. If you go back and take a look, you'll see what I'm talking about. So I've picked a mark on the track to back up to so that I just run out as I'm coming up on cars. As you can see, this is looking kind of ridiculous. There's no cars in sight, but if you just hang on, there they are. And I'm going to take a very tight inside line to just get around him. Now as I come up on the rest of the bots, they're going to be nicely spaced out, not in those groups of three like those guys were. That's going to make it easier to pass them. I should mention that you'll find this race in the Pro Series in the Group A Grand Tour. It's a series that only this car is in. Really hard part in this race is taking almost every single corner. If you followed me at all, you know that my favorite race was the McLaren P1 GTR at this track. Well, that one was a lot easier to drive here than this one is. This car is very difficult to take the corners in and very hard to catch up if you've gotten loose or had some minor contact. And you really can't afford damage that slows you down here. But in this car, you have to get into guys a little bit, and there's some nifty tricks I'll show you about that coming up. So right now I'm at about the maximum speed, which takes a good lap and a half to get to. The fastest I've gone at this track in this car is 342 kilometers per hour. So as I'm heading into this corner, right after that little grading mark is when I start my turn. That's a slow, gradual turn. And then right after the bulge on this corner, well, that doesn't have one. Sorry, it's the next corner. You guys are gonna have to feel it out and know where to turn. And you have to take your turn dependent on where the bots are in front of you. So I might start turning a bit early sometimes. I might start turning a bit late sometimes. The trick is they are gonna brake almost every single time, which gives me the opportunity to pass them. I'm fully upgraded here. This race is actually easier if you're one or two upgrades less than that, but it's impossible to go the full distance or to go a really long distance without being fully upgraded. You'll notice that I lose a little bit of speed in the corners sometimes, and some of that is from the inherent traction control that steering assist high provides you with. This is pretty much the only track I run steering assist high. It just helps to smooth out the corners a little bit. And then my sensitivity's on 0. The other assists are off. You'll see I am getting ridiculously close to bots, and that's not just to show off, it's necessary. To do a pass, like at this corner, I'm going to have to get really close to him so I can carry my speed out without hitting the wall. If I take that too wide, I'm going to hit the wall or I'm going to have to slow down. If I slow down too much, I'm never going to hit big groups of bots. Now, I'm not going to be talking for this whole video. A lot of it's just going to be driving. However, I thought I'd give you some explanations of what I'm doing. Little contact like you just saw there, that's not a big deal. Sparks fly, no big deal at all. In fact, I'm going to show you a trick later on how if you make a little bit of contact at the right moment on the right part of the car, on the bots that is, it actually triggers their anti-pit algorithm that Real Racing 3 put in several updates ago. If you've been playing this game for a while, you know there was an update where bots got super aggressive and they were pitting us like crazy. I actually like that because, I mean, all's fair in love and war. I pit them like crazy, they might as well return the favor. However, it sometimes was pretty annoying. Now here you see a group of 3. First group that we've seen, and it's going to be spaced out after this. They're still slow. After a while, they're going to be driving away from me even when I'm doing 340 on the straightaways. It's just something about the tuning of the hardest bots. I'm going to check out for a while here, let you see the race. It's going to get crazy later on, and I mean really, really crazy. I'm going to come back once the maneuver I talked about how you get a bot to slow down. Once that comes into play, you'll hear my voice again. Come back in at this point. If you look on the horizon, you will see I'm reaching the, well, perpetual point, but I wouldn't really call that at this track because it's so incredibly hard to keep going here. But there we go. The bots are starting to group up a little bit. Those groupings are going to get really crazy. So this is where passing gets very difficult. I have to be very, very strategic in what I do. You might have noticed that I'm trying to never touch the brakes. What I'll do is I'll sometimes lift off the throttle a little bit if I can't get the pass time right. Right there, that contact I made, that becomes necessary. If you do it gentle enough, you're not going to get damaged. But it's tricky because they do not want to give up their line. They will fight you for it. So this isn't looking too busy yet. Again, you watch, that guy's going to get out of the brakes a bit. That contact, I'm going to have lots of that. Not a big deal. And that guy's driving away from me. Kind of holding his own, but you can see they're pretty fast now. Now he's going to be in a bad spot for me. I can't Well, that's not really smart, but I pulled it off. If you don't stay aggressive enough, you're going to just have no more bots. You're not going to have tight groups. So at certain points you might say, well, why don't you just lay back? You've got 20, 30 bots in front of you. Because if I lay back too much, I might get another 6, 7 laps and that's it. See, that looks pretty crazy. That's a lot of bots. Well, they're all in a nice line. Not a big deal. Passing these guys shouldn't be too hard. 340, and I can only really catch him in the corner because he's going to brake. And you have to really, really know where the bots are going to drive, when they're going to brake, etc. That was not good. I really should have got out of the gas a little bit. The groupings still aren't too crazy. What you want to watch for is if there's bots going side by side into a corner. That is trouble. You can almost guarantee there's going to be some kind of an accident. Now, if you race the McLaren P1 GTR here, you know that accidents were very common and they were crazy. They're actually not common here. In fact, I've gone close to 100 miles and had no accidents at all happening around me. But there's going to be some, and they're going to happen very suddenly, and it's just a matter of trying to figure out how you're going to stay out of the way. Now, I don't want to stop. I don't want to get out of the gas, so if I wait, he's going to pull away from me a little bit. Now I can get around him. Just a little tiny nick. You can see the bots are getting really tight, and that's going to spell, well, potential disaster. That big long rub like that, believe it or not, I was steering hard right. But he kept pushing me, and it's really hard not to wreck when they're doing that. Now I'm going to try to take 2 right here. I don't know if I can pull it off. And then I got to get out of the gas and quickly dive underneath this guy and let him pull away from me a little bit. At the same time, you have to watch the horizon at all times. Well, okay, not at all times, but you got to keep an eye on the horizon to see, is there trouble? Is there a wreck? Because a big wreck here, if I hit someone even a little bit too hard and my windshield gets cracked, that's it. In fact, sometimes if you take too much side damage here, that's it. Race is over. I was just thinking I was going to do that technique soon, but so far it hasn't been necessary. Although my timer's getting low, and that's not good. You might say 52, well, that's not bad, and 60 is not bad at all, especially as I head to the start-finish line here. But this car isn't all that fast. It takes about 45 seconds to get around the track in this thing. So you can end up in trouble really quickly here. There, that little nudge made him hit the brakes. So I'll get into that because I'm going to pull it off here soon. When you are passing a car and you've just gone so that your back bumper is ahead of his, you can start gently nudging him. And I mean really gentle. A gentle nudge and he's going to nail the brakes. Wow, that was close. If I didn't hit the brakes there, I would have had a race-ending crash. Okay, so this is getting really dicey. See those guys that are side by side up there? That is not good. Quite possibly going to have a wreck here soon that I've got to dodge. So they really stacked up. I got to find a way to get in here. This is, oh, it's not good. Okay, I made it without damage. At least I hope I didn't get damaged. If you get just a little bit of damage here, your top speed will go down to 336. And that's when you know that you're just not going to be able to go the full distance. But you can keep going for a while with that top speed. You'll notice I go really low in the corners. Again, these guys want to drive side by side. That is not great. Oh, it looks like he fell into line. Lap 20. Okay, they've had a little bit of contact and they're slowing down again. Can I get in here? That's not good. Again, I'm really trying not to wreck. If I don't steer hard right during that whole thing, I would have gotten pitted, spun off track, crashed, that's it. you could see he was certainly hitting me in the perfect place to pit me. So you've got to steer hard right, but also be prepared to steer left the second he lets off. All right, here's my little tap. Boom, he slows down. And again, I just hit him enough. You've got to make sure you're passing him when that happens. If he's passing you when you try to do that, most likely you're going to have a fight and you're going to lose. And sometimes when you start losing traction like that, you just can't get it back. This is where you have to be using tilt B. If I was driving tilt A right there, there's no way I could have stayed off the wall. I was skidding, so more gas will make me skid more, and brakes will make me skid more. The only way you stop the skid is you coast. You can't coast with tilt A. And looks like there's a new option coming up in a few days of tilt C, which would also give you the option to coast. I'm going to give that a try once it comes up. There I had to get out of the gas because it really looked like there was a wreck coming up, and there we go, there's trouble. Okay, well, you don't need a constant narrative from me. I've said what I wanted to say. I'll disappear for a while here, get the race volume back up, and talk to you later. Coming back in here as we're getting close to one milestone. Now I'm racing in kilometers per hour, so I'm just hitting 100 kilometers here, not 100 miles. Still, that's pretty good in this car at this track. There we go. You've been seeing some pretty crazy hectic racing. If you don't think it's crazy and hectic, give it a try. You'll find out that it's pretty crazy, and honestly, I find this to be the most exhilarating race in this game, currently. So I'm going to sign off for a while. I'll be back when I near 100 miles. Oh yeah, some people might be wondering why I'm not just using miles per hour all the time. Well, I'm Canadian, and in Canada I was raised with the metric system. So kilometers, centimeters, meters, kilograms. But because we're really close to our American friends, I also have to know inches, feet, pounds, and miles. So I know both, but every time I get in my car, I'm dealing with kilometers per hour, so there you go. Talk to you later. Hey, there's no bot crossing sign there. What do you think you're doing? Seriously though, this is getting crazy hectic. In fact, this does not feel good. I'm gonna have to slow down a little bit. Ah, nuts! That could be the race. Well, at least I avoided the major crash. We will have to see. Okay, no cracks in the windshield. That is a really good thing. And this isn't over yet. These guys want to drive side by side. I don't know if I have my top speed here. It's going to be a while before I can find out. I'm going to have to get out of the gas very aggressively and carefully get around this mess. All right. Let's see what my top end is. You know, sometimes I think bots also take damage. No, it certainly happens. They get damaged, they go slower. So some of these guys end up being slow in front of me. Although that guy certainly isn't very slow, and he was involved in that wreck a bit. Okay, I got over 336. I'm actually okay. Good, good, good. Let's keep going. Smokes, what's going on here? Oh, another wreck, and wow, dodge all that. Okay, this is not looking good. You see how that road looks nice and clear in front of me? Only a bot or two? That's not what I want to see. I took too long to pass some of those bots, and now they're getting gapped. I've got to run really clean and really fast, and hopefully I can catch up to a line again. I'm getting close to 100 miles. 100 miles is going to be roughly 160 kilometers. It's not exact, but I'll show you when we get there. Come on, show me a... Okay, good. There's some bots in the distance there. I'm hoping I have enough time on the clock to get back there. Again, you might think I've got lots of time, but I don't, because I'm not passing bots. So I'm just getting the 20 seconds when I cross the line. I really need to start making passes soon, or this race will be over. By the way, my bumper is blocking the 1 in the 136. When I switch views, you can see that, there you go, 137, you know, lots of, it just isn't showing up here. Okay, now I'm feeling good. I'm really close. My timer's at 50. Hopefully I can get around these guys. Sometimes I just hit them in the wrong spot, and it's really hard to make a pass. That's one of my favorite moves. You got 2 bots, you pass one, and then you make the crossover, and, well, I'm not going to get this guy, but he's eventually going to speed off, and I can get around him here. I'm going to sign off for a bit more. Alright, I'm coming back on. We're getting really close. I'm going to switch over to miles per hour so you can see the distance. 98, 99, and a lot of bots in front of me. There's no way I'm not going to make it. I better watch traffic though, instead of watching my distance. And there we go. Ding, 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 bingo. I'm going back to kilometers per hour. Well, how far can I go? Can I get my next milestone, which is 200? I don't know. This looks kind of crazy. Yeah, not good. Big groups like this are just dangerous when they're all side by side. By the way, inside passes like this, you can't do them at full speed. You have to be, around 330, maybe 334. Otherwise, you're just going to wash up the track badly. Not sure if I took on too much damage there or what. Again, I'm trying to get past these guys fast. I should be able to pull off that pass. Alright. Well, I seem to be in the clear. I don't know. Let's see if my speed gets up over 336. I hit 337, but that's going down to a corner. Ah, there we go. Good, good. Okay. Talk to you later. Nuts! Did that ever happen fast? Yep, we got cracks. Okay, well, I'm definitely going to come to an end soon. My timer was really nice and full because I got through that without coming to a grinding halt. But you'll see my speed just can't get up there, and I'd be surprised if I can pass one more bot. If you go back and watch that, you'll see it happened very fast. I had very little time to react, and if you watch actual racing, you know that you can't just slam on your brakes to get around a crash. You've got to carry some speed, and you've got to try to find a way around it. And that's what I was trying to do, and I just took the wrong way. It happens. Happens in real racing lots too. Guy tries to drive around a crash, and kaboom, he ends up being in the crash. You can see my timer getting really low, but you can also see there's bots on the horizon. If they crash, I'm going to be able to get a little bit further. If they don't, I won't. Well, at this rate, I won't even get another lap, so I'm going to do something you shouldn't do. And that's that. Definitely damaged me worse, but it was that or this race ends even quicker. I'm trying to set a personal best here, and I'm doing that. I should make it to the line here to get another half lap in. I'll show you my earnings for this race at the end, but they're really bad. You don't do this race to earn fame or to earn R because you get very little. You just do this race because there's no other race like it in the game. It's just invigorating, intense, and that's why I do it. So I'm going to switch to miles per hour. You can see my distance in miles. 116, 117, should hit 117. I'm going back to kilometers because that's what I like. And we'll take this right to the very end, and then I will show you the final numbers. There you have it, 188.37 equals 117.05 miles. That is definitely my personal best. Thank you for watching. I hope you give this race a shot and have some fun out there. Me7 signing off. Happy racing.